A colossal starship was left to die. A human mechanic made it the galaxy's strongest weapon. Among these dead stars floated a massive shadow, a ship so enormous it could swallow entire fleets. Its hull was scarred, panels missing, and silence clung to it like a shroud. This was the Titanus, once the pride of the galaxy's most advanced civilizations, now abandoned and left to die. In a small human salvage ship, far smaller than the Titanus, Marcus tightened his grip on the console. His heart raced, a mix of fear and excitement. Most humans would have avoided this place entirely. Most humans, he reminded himself, were cowards, but Marcus had never been most humans. "This is it," he said quietly to himself. "The biggest wreck in the galaxy, and it's ours for the taking." The salvage crew around him exchanged nervous glances. Alien warnings had filled the scanners, distress signals, ancient defense codes, and the echoes of old battles. Every caution said one thing: stay away. But Marcus didn't listen to caution. He thrived on it. The small ship approached the Titanus's hull. From a distance, it looked like a floating fortress, yet time had gnawed at its edges. Panels hung loose. Sparks of failing energy flickered in long-dead circuits. The ship's scale was almost impossible to comprehend. Even their scanners struggled to map it fully. Marcus suited up and floated toward an open maintenance hatch. His fingers brushed cold metal as he entered. The airlock hissed and sealed behind him. Inside, the corridors were dark, the only light coming from faint emergency panels. Dust swirled lazily in the artificial gravity's weak pull. "This place, it's massive," whispered one of the crew, a young engineer named Leela. Her voice echoed unnaturally in the cavernous halls. Marcus nodded but didn't respond. His eyes were already scanning the panels. Systems flickered to life under his touch, weak but alive. A voice sounded suddenly, broken, in a strange alien language. The AI was partially active but confused, fragmented across centuries of neglect. Marcus frowned. "It's alive, sort of, and it's scared." The AI spoke again, this time in halting English, a patchwork of translations. Unauthorized, touch, leave, die. Marcus ignored it. Where others saw danger, he saw opportunity. He moved deeper into the ship, improvising tools from scraps he had brought aboard. Broken circuits were bypassed, weak generators restarted, and life slowly returned to the Titanus. Hours passed. Marcus worked tirelessly, never stopping, never doubting. The crew watched in awe as the ancient ship seemed to respond to him, almost as if it understood that this human was different from the aliens that had built it. Then he found something that made his heart race: a sealed chamber, untouched by time. Its doors bore warning symbols in multiple alien languages, symbols none of them fully understood. Marcus carefully pried the panel open. Inside was a core of shimmering energy, faintly humming. It pulsed with raw power, dangerous and unstable. This is it," Marcus said, voice trembling. "The weapon they left behind. They left it to die because they were afraid of it." Leela stepped closer. "You really think we can use it?" Marcus smiled, though the thought of the danger made his stomach twist. "We're going to fix this ship, make it ours, make it strong. They left it to rot, but humans never leave things broken. We rebuild, we survive, we fight back." Outside, sensors picked up distant movement. Alien scouts, perhaps sent by those who had abandoned the Titanus, were approaching. Marcus ignored them for the moment. There was work to do. He focused on restoring the ship systems. Lights flickered on, corridors hummed with energy, and the faint sound of mechanical life filled the halls. Marcus spoke to the AI again, coaxing it into cooperation. The voice was hesitant, but it listened. Slowly, it began to respond in English, fragmented, clumsy. "Unauthorized, but survival necessary guidance." "Yes," Marcus said. "I'll guide you, you'll follow me, we'll make it stronger than they ever imagined." For the first time in centuries, the Titanus moved. Its engines hummed weakly, the massive ship shifting slightly in the nebula. Marcus felt a thrill. The ship wasn't just metal and circuits. It was alive in a way only humans could awaken, but danger was coming. The alien scouts drew nearer, weapons ready, their sensors piercing the nebula. Marcus knew a fight was inevitable. The Titanus was too powerful to ignore, yet he wasn't afraid. He had no choice but to be brave. Humans were small in the galaxy, but humans were clever. He guided the ship toward a safer position within the nebula, using its massive size as cover. The alien scouts followed cautiously, sensing something powerful inside the abandoned wreck. Marcus prepared what he could: a few restored defense turrets, improvised energy shields. It wasn't much, but it would have to do. Hours turned into tense silence. Then the scouts fired, small energy pulses bouncing harmlessly off the Titanus's partially restored hull. The AI's voice hissed, panicked but learning. "Weapons primed, danger," Marcus chuckled. "Don't worry. Humans survive because we improvise, and we always find a way." He activated a small, restored cannon, firing a warning shot toward the scouts. The impact was precise and deadly, but controlled, enough to make the aliens hesitate. For the first time, they realized the Titanus was no longer a dead ship. Marcus stood on the bridge, watching through reinforced viewports. The stars outside shimmered with distant battleships, but inside, a new energy filled the ship. It was alive, powerful, and human-guided. "This is just the beginning," Marcus said softly. "They left this ship to die, but they forgot one thing. Humans don't give up. Humans rebuild. Humans fight back." The AI paused, processing. Then it spoke slowly, almost reverently. "Human strength, unpredictable survival, weapon," Marcus smiled. That was all it needed to know. The Titanus would live again, and it would live on human terms. As the alien scouts retreated, wary and confused, Marcus turned to his crew. "We've got work to do. Systems to repair, weapons to awaken, and a galaxy to show what humans can do." The stars outside twinkled, indifferent to the humans and their massive prize. But inside the Titanus, something had changed. The abandoned starship left to die now had a human heart. And that heart beat with courage, intelligence, and relentless determination. Hours later, Marcus stood before the energy core again. He traced his fingers over the shimmering light, feeling its hum through the suit. "Soon," he whispered. "Soon we'll be ready. Not just to survive, but to show them all that humans are not weak. They left this for dead, but we will turn it into the galaxy's strongest weapon." The Titanus shivered, almost as if it understood. It would wait, it would learn, it would follow. And with a human guiding it, it would become more than a weapon. It would become a symbol of humanity itself. Marcus leaned against a console and allowed himself a small smile. He had stared death in the face many times, but never had he felt this alive. Here, among the forgotten stars and the ruins of alien arrogance, a human mechanic had found something far greater than treasure: opportunity. Outside, the nebula swirled, hiding them from prying eyes, but the galaxy would notice soon enough. The Titanus was waking. And when it did, nothing would ever be the same. Marcus's eyes gleamed with determination as he whispered again, "Let's show them what humans can do." The Titanus was stirring. Its massive engines hummed low, like a beast waking after centuries of slumber. Sparks of life ran through corridors, lights flickering on in slow waves. Marcus walked through the bridge, his hands brushing over control panels that had not felt human touch in centuries. "Look at this place," Leela whispered, her voice almost trembling. "It's alive, isn't it?" "Alive, yes," Marcus said, eyes scanning the instruments. "But it's confused, it's not used to humans yet." The AI's voice echoed through the hull, distorted and fragmented. "Human presence, unknown threat." Marcus shook his head. "No, it's not a threat. I'm not here to destroy it. I'm here to fix it, to make it stronger, better." He had spent hours studying the ship systems, tracing broken circuits, rerouting power, and repairing the smallest conduits. Every panel he touched, every wire he connected, made the Titanus respond in subtle ways. Lights flickered faster, Engines hummed with more confidence, and the faint energy of the ancient weapon core pulsed brighter. Marcus turned to the core chamber. The glowing mass of energy shimmered faintly, almost as if it were breathing. He approached carefully, feeling the heat of its power. Even partially restored, it could obliterate entire fleets. The aliens had abandoned it for a reason: danger. "Careful," Leela said, noticing his hand on the controls. "That thing could kill us all," Marcus smiled. "Exactly, which is why we need to understand it first. Humans never take something powerful lightly. We respect it, then we make it ours." The AI spoke again, more clearly now, almost cautiously. "Human actions, unpredictable learning guidance." "Exactly," Marcus said. "I'll guide you. We'll do this together." He returned to the bridge, beginning the first stage of weapon system tests. Turrets along the hull powered on, energy conduits humming in response to his commands. It was crude, far from full strength, but enough to demonstrate that the Titanus could fight even in its weakened state. Outside, sensors flickered. Alien scouts were near. Marcus froze. "They're coming back." The crew turned to the view screens. Small ships, sleek and deadly, moved cautiously through the nebula, scanning for signs of the Titanus. The alien empires clearly wanted the massive ship destroyed before it could wake fully. Leela swallowed hard. "What do we do?" Marcus's eyes gleamed. "We do what humans do best. We improvise." He moved quickly to the weapon control panel, activating the partially repaired cannons. The turrets hummed to life, energy glowing faintly. The scouts noticed immediately and changed course, sensing something powerful inside the Titanus. But they had no idea. The ship was still half dead, half alive, and its human mechanic was only beginning to understand its potential. Marcus smiled. He didn't need to destroy them. Not yet. He just needed to make them hesitate. He fired a single energy pulse from the nearest turret. It streaked through the nebula, striking a scout ship squarely and sending it spinning into a gas cloud. No lives were lost, but the message was clear. The Titanus was not abandoned. It had a new master. The alien scouts retreated, but Marcus knew they would return, in larger numbers, with more firepower. He turned to the crew. "This is just the beginning. They'll come back stronger, but we'll be ready. We have something they don't expect." "What's that?" Leela asked. Marcus paused, looking around the massive bridge. "Us, humans, clever, unpredictable, and never afraid to try something impossible." Over the next several hours, Marcus worked tirelessly to restore more systems. The Titanus's AI, hesitant but learning, began following his commands more accurately. It took human logic and improvisation to guide it, because alien technology was rigid, logical, precise, but not creative. Humans could find solutions where aliens only saw problems. Marcus found a hidden engineering bay. Inside were partially constructed weapons, energy cannons, missile systems, defensive drones. Alien engineers had abandoned them as too dangerous or unstable. Marcus saw opportunity. He began rebuilding, combining parts in ways the original creators never imagined. "Think they'd let a human build something like this?" Leela asked, shaking her head. "They underestimated us," Marcus said simply. "They always do." Hours turned into a full day as Marcus and the crew worked, the Titanus slowly coming alive. Lights flared in corridors. Energy pulsed along the ship's hull. Turrets aligned and rotated, scanning the nebula. The ship was not fully restored, but it was awake and it was aware. Then, without warning, alarms blared. The sensors lit up. Another fleet of alien ships emerged from hyperspace, larger and more organized than the scouts before. Marcus stepped to the bridge, heart steady but mind racing. They didn't take the first warning seriously. Now they'll see we're not a relic. We're alive and we fight back. The Titanus shuddered as its engines roared to life, shaking the abandoned shipyard in the nebula. Even in its weakened state, it was enormous, dwarfing the alien fleet. Marcus guided it skillfully, weaving between nebula clouds, using the environment as cover. The alien ships fired, but energy pulses were absorbed by the partially restored shields. "Focus on the core systems," Marcus instructed. "We need enough power to survive. Don't overextend." The crew worked frantically, stabilizing energy flows and rerouting power to the shields and turrets. The Titanus groaned, adapting to human commands. It was learning to trust Marcus, following his instincts rather than pre-programmed logic. The alien fleet closed in, sending probes to scan the ship. Marcus smiled. "Let us show them what humans can do." He activated a hidden pulse cannon, an experimental weapon partially restored from alien blueprints. It fired a controlled blast, not enough to destroy the fleet, but enough to disable their communication arrays. The alien commanders were confused, their ships scattered, and the human crew cheered. But the victory was brief. The alien fleet quickly recovered, reorganizing for a full assault. Marcus knew this was only the beginning. The Titanus needed more power, more upgrades, more human ingenuity. He turned to the AI. "We'll need to take more risks. We'll push the systems beyond what they were designed for. Humans do this all the time because if we don't, we die." The AI hesitated, then responded. "Human logic, strange, effective guidance, essential." Marcus grinned. "See, you're learning. Humans are the best engineers in the galaxy. You just need to trust us." As night fell across the nebula, Marcus walked the corridors of the Titanus. The ship groaned and creaked around him, alive and uncertain but moving. He traced his fingers along the cold metal walls, feeling the heartbeat of ancient alien technology and the pulse of human determination. "Tomorrow," he said quietly to himself, "we push further. We awaken every system. We'll be ready when they come back. And when they do, they'll see something no one expected. A human mechanic controlling a ship they left to die, becoming the strongest weapon in the galaxy." Leela joined him, her eyes wide. "Do you really think we can do it?" Marcus smiled, placing a hand on her shoulder. "They left it to die because they feared it. But humans don't leave things broken. We take the impossible and we make it work. And the Titanus is just the start." The stars outside twinkled silently, unaware of the awakening giant drifting among them. The Titanus was no longer abandoned. Its power was growing, guided by human hands, shaped by human minds, and fueled by human courage. Marcus looked at the energy core again. It pulsed, waiting, humming with dangerous potential. He whispered softly, "Soon, very soon, they'll know what humans can do." And in the dark, abandoned corridors of the Titanus, the ship seemed to shiver in agreement. It was learning. It was waking. And with a human at its helm, the galaxy would never see it coming. The Titanus was no longer just a relic drifting in a nebula. It was alive, humming with power and guided by human hands. Marcus moved through the corridors, feeling every vibration of the massive hull. He could sense the ship thinking in its alien way, learning from him, adapting. The more humans interacted with it, the stronger it became. "Marcus," Leela said from the engineering bay, "I've never seen anything like this. Every system we touch seems to respond differently than we expected. It's like the ship trusts us." Marcus smiled. "Trust is a human advantage. Alien technology is clever, but it's rigid. It follows rules. Humans bend rules. We think differently. We improvise. That's how we win." He returned to the bridge and activated the tactical display. The sensors pinged faintly. Another alien fleet had arrived, far larger than the last. Their ships glinted with deadly precision, moving as a single, coordinated wave. Marcus didn't flinch. He had already begun modifying the Titanus's weapons beyond what the aliens had intended. The AI, hesitant at first, spoke. "Human, upgrades, unpredictable, effectiveness, uncertain." "I know," Marcus said, tapping the display. "That's why it's brilliant. Predictable is boring. Unpredictable wins wars." For hours, the crew worked, combining alien technology with human creativity. They modified the turrets to rotate faster, adjusted energy cores to fire bursts in patterns the aliens hadn't designed, and reinforced shields with improvised conduits. The ship's AI struggled to understand these modifications, but it adapted. Slowly, it began to trust Marcus's instincts over its original programming. Marcus paused and looked at the energy core. Its glow was stronger now, pulsing in time with the Titanus itself. He traced his fingers along the console and whispered, "Soon, you'll be unstoppable." The first engagement came as the alien fleet entered the nebula. Their ships fired upon Titanus, energy pulses striking the massive hull. The human crew watched calmly as Marcus guided the Titanus with surgical precision. Using nebula gas clouds as cover, he maneuvered the ship to avoid concentrated fire while simultaneously firing warning shots. One by one, the alien ships were forced to retreat. Not destroyed, but thoroughly confused. The Titanus moved unpredictably, its weapons firing in ways no alien fleet had ever seen. Marcus's human ingenuity had turned a half-dead relic into a phantom of war. Leela's eyes widened. "They can't predict us. They can't understand how we're doing this." Marcus smiled grimly. "Exactly, that's the human advantage." Over the next few days, Marcus worked tirelessly. He discovered hidden compartments, long-forgotten energy relays, and alien weapon prototypes abandoned because they were too dangerous. He modified them, combining their alien power with human mechanics. The Titanus was growing stronger every hour. One evening, Marcus discovered an experimental propulsion system. If fully activated, it could push the Titanus faster than any ship in the galaxy. But it was unstable. Any mistake could tear the hull apart. Leela shook her head. "Are you crazy? That could destroy the ship." Marcus's eyes gleamed. "Yes, and that's why it will work. Humans aren't afraid of risk. We calculate, we improvise, and we survive. The aliens left this to die because they were too cautious. I'll do what they never dared." He worked through the night, integrating the propulsion system. By dawn, the Titanus could move with agility unmatched by alien fleets. Marcus ran simulations, weaving the massive ship through asteroid fields, nebula clouds, and debris belts, testing its limits. Each time, the Titanus responded perfectly, as if it had learned the human touch. The next alien fleet arrived at dawn, this one massive and heavily armed. Marcus guided the Titanus through the nebula, weaving unpredictably, its weapons firing bursts in patterns no alien had ever seen. The fleet was stunned. Their sensors couldn't track the Titanus's movement, and their attacks were easily deflected by Marcus's improvisations. The AI spoke almost in awe. "Human strategy unpredictable, effective, survival superior," Marcus smirked. "Thank you, finally you understand. Humans are the galaxy's strongest weapon, not because of firepower but because of brains, courage, and creativity." For the first time, the crew of the Titanus realized something profound. This ship, abandoned and feared, was not just a weapon, it was a symbol of what humans could do when they refused to accept limits. Hours of battle passed. The alien fleet was forced to retreat, scattering in confusion. Marcus did not pursue. That was not the point. The Titanus had proven itself, and humans had proven themselves. Later, in the ship's command chamber, Marcus stood before the energy core, watching it pulse. He spoke softly. "Leela, you feel that?" She nodded. "It's like the ship is alive, listening, learning." "Yes," Marcus said. "And now we push further. We take what they left to die and turn it into something no one can stop. Humans don't just survive, we adapt, we improve. We overcome." Marcus's plan was audacious. He would upgrade the Titanus beyond anything the alien creators had imagined, combining alien power with human ingenuity. Every system, every weapon, every shield would be enhanced. The ship would no longer be abandoned. It would become the galaxy's strongest weapon. Days passed in intense labor. The crew worked tirelessly, guided by Marcus. They rewired energy conduits, recalibrated weapon arrays, and strengthened the hull. The Titanus responded, its systems humming with increasing confidence. Marcus had discovered hidden AI nodes, long-dormant alien programs that, when activated, enhanced weapon precision. He modified them to recognize human tactics, creating a synergy no alien had ever conceived. Marcus paused at the observation deck, looking out at the stars. They thought this ship was dead, he said quietly. But they forgot one thing: humans never leave something broken. We take the impossible and make it our own. Suddenly, the sensors picked up an incoming alien command fleet, the largest Marcus had seen. Dozens of ships, each bristling with weapons, converging on the Titanus. "Get ready," Marcus said calmly. "They want to destroy what they can't control. Let's show them why humans can't be controlled." The Titanus surged forward, engines roaring. Marcus guided it through the nebula, using gravitational fields and asteroid belts as cover. The alien fleet fired, energy blasts striking the hull, but Marcus anticipated every move, redirecting power to shields and countermeasures. The experimental propulsion system activated, giving the Titanus agility no one expected. It darted between enemy ships, firing energy bursts that disabled engines and shields. The aliens had no idea how a single human could manipulate a ship of this size so effortlessly. The AI spoke again, in awe and wonder. "Human intuition superior, adaptation, strength unmatched," Marcus smiled. "Yes, that's it. We are humans, unpredictable, clever, resourceful. We take what others fear and make it ours. That's how we survive. That's how we win." As the battle continued, the Titanus became a phantom in the nebula, striking where the enemy was weakest, retreating where they expected aggression, and never once allowing itself to be trapped. The alien fleet was forced to withdraw, scattered and defeated, not by brute force but by human ingenuity. After the battle, the crew gathered in the main hall. They were exhausted but exhilarated. Marcus looked at them, pride in his eyes. "You see what we can do. This ship was abandoned, left to die, but we made it alive. And not just alive, we made it stronger than anyone thought possible. The galaxy will remember this day." Leela smiled, awe on her face. "Marcus, we did it. We really did it." Marcus shook his head. "No. We didn't just survive. We changed the rules. Humans aren't weak. Humans aren't small. Humans are the galaxy's wild card, and the Titanus is proof." Outside, the stars shimmered, silent witnesses to the awakening giant. The Titanus, once a forgotten relic, now moved with confidence, power, and a human heart guiding it. The ship was alive, learning, and ready for whatever the galaxy would throw next. Marcus returned to the energy core, hands brushing the glowing surface. "Soon," he whispered. "Soon we'll be ready for them all. We'll show the galaxy what a human can do, and they will never forget it." The Titanus shivered, responding to his words. It was no longer abandoned. It was alive. It was powerful. It was human. And with Marcus at the helm, the galaxy would never see it coming. The Titanus floated silently among the stars, its massive hull gleaming faintly in the nebula's glow. For the first time, it was no longer abandoned, no longer broken, no longer feared because of its helplessness. Under Marcus's guidance, it had become alive, agile, and more powerful than any fleet in the galaxy could imagine. Marcus stood on the bridge, eyes fixed on the tactical display. Multiple alien fleets had been detected converging from every quadrant. This was it, the full assault. The alien coalition had decided to destroy the Titanus before it could become the symbol of human power in the galaxy. "Brace yourselves," Marcus said calmly, though inside his heart raced. "They want to end us. They don't understand what they're up against." Leela beside him tightened her grip on the console. "It's huge. Do you really think we can survive this?" Marcus smiled, his confidence unshakable. "We're not just surviving, we're humans, and humans don't just fight, we adapt, we improvise, we win." The alien fleets appeared, a sea of glinting warships, each bristling with weapons. They moved in perfect coordination, a tidal wave of destruction designed to crush the Titanus in minutes. Marcus's eyes narrowed. This was the moment he had been preparing for. "Engage all systems," he commanded. "Shields to maximum, weapon arrays online, experimental propulsion ready." The Titanus shivered as power flowed through every conduit. Its energy core glowed brighter than ever, pulsing like a heartbeat. For a moment the ship seemed alive in a way that no machine had ever been alive before, sensing, calculating, learning. The first wave of alien ships fired. Energy blasts streaked across the void, striking the Titanus's shields. The ship shuddered, but Marcus had anticipated this. With a series of rapid commands, he rerouted energy to the hull and activated the improvised defensive systems he had designed. The shields absorbed the impact, and the alien fleet recoiled in surprise. "Evasive maneuvers," Marcus shouted. "Use the nebula clouds, make them chase ghosts." The Titanus surged forward, weaving unpredictably through asteroid fields and dense pockets of gas. The alien fleet struggled to follow, their weapons unable to target the moving giant. Marcus fired the experimental cannons, energy beams striking key ships and disabling them without destroying lives. The AI spoke, awe in its synthetic voice. "Human strategy superior, adaptation efficiency unmatched," Marcus grinned. "Yes, that's right. This is how humans fight, not with brute force alone, but with brains, courage, and imagination. That's why we survive. That's why we win." The battle raged for hours. The Titanus moved like a living creature, its weapons striking where the enemy was weakest, its shields holding against waves of fire. Every tactic Marcus had developed, every human touch he had added made the ship stronger. Alien commanders were forced to retreat, regroup, and rethink, but Marcus never gave them a predictable pattern. "Prepare the energy core," Marcus commanded quietly. "It's time to remind them why they feared this ship." The crew worked quickly, stabilizing the core for a controlled output. The alien fleets, sensing the Titanus gaining power, closed in aggressively. Marcus activated the energy core, sending a pulse that disabled the command ships, engines, and communications. Ships spun helplessly, unable to coordinate. The humans aboard the Titanus moved with calm precision, striking critical points and forcing the fleet into total confusion. One alien admiral shouted orders, but they were useless. The Titanus struck again and again, not with mindless aggression, but with precision guided by human ingenuity. In a matter of minutes, dozens of enemy ships were incapacitated or scattered. Leela stared at Marcus in awe. "We did it. We actually did it." Marcus shook his head. "No, we didn't just survive. We've changed the rules. This isn't just a victory, it's a statement. Humans are not weak. Humans are unpredictable. Humans are the galaxy's wild card." The Titanus glided through the battlefield, energy surging through its systems. It was no longer abandoned. It was alive, guided by human hands and unstoppable. Marcus's modifications had turned a relic of fear into a symbol of power, courage, and ingenuity. The alien fleets, now desperate, tried one last coordinated strike. Dozens of ships fired simultaneously, focusing all firepower on the Titanus. Marcus calmly observed the attack and then smiled. "Divert all power to shields. Fire all turrets in alternating patterns. Activate experimental propulsion." The Titanus roared to life, surging through the attack like a phantom. Energy beams and missiles struck the shields, which absorbed the damage, while the ship's weapons disabled critical targets. Alien ships collided, malfunctioned, and scattered. The human crew remained calm and focused, each action precise, each decision guided by Marcus's brilliance. Hours passed. When the last alien ship fled, Marcus stood on the bridge, breathing steadily. The Titanus hummed around him, alive and powerful. The galaxy had witnessed something extraordinary, A human mechanic had taken an abandoned starship and turned it into a force unmatched in both strength and strategy. "Leela," Marcus said softly, "look at it. It's more than just a weapon now. It's proof. Proof that humans can do what no one else dares." She nodded, eyes wide. "We've done more than survive, we've changed everything." Marcus turned to the energy core, tracing its glowing surface. "They left this ship to die because they feared it. They thought it was too dangerous for anyone to control, but they forgot. Humans are never predictable. Humans never give up. Humans turn what others fear into what we command." The Titaness responded, humming with energy and life. Its AI, once fragmented and fearful, now spoke with clarity and respect. "Human strength, creativity, courage, unmatched weapon symbol," Marcus smiled. "Exactly, not just a weapon, a symbol of what humans can do, of what we will do." The crew gathered around him. Exhausted, yes, but exhilarated. They had faced impossible odds and emerged victorious. Marcus looked at each of them and said, "We've proven one thing today. No one underestimates humans and lives to tell the tale. This ship, this Titaness, is ours. But more importantly, it shows the galaxy that humans are clever, resourceful, and unstoppable." Leela grinned. "So, what now?" Marcus's eyes gleamed with determination. "Now we keep building, we keep upgrading. We keep showing the galaxy that humans are more than they ever expected. And if anyone comes for us, well, they'll learn the hard way what a human can do when left with the impossible." Outside, the stars shimmered silently. The nebula, once a graveyard for a forgotten ship, now housed the galaxy's most powerful weapon. But it was more than that. It was proof of humanity's courage, intelligence, and ingenuity. The Titaness was alive, learning, and ready for the future. Marcus placed a hand on the console, feeling the pulse of the energy core. He whispered softly, almost to himself, "We've taken what they left to die, and we've made it stronger than anyone could imagine. The galaxy will remember this day. They'll remember humans." The Titaness hummed in response, its massive hull vibrating with life. The abandoned ship was no longer a relic. It was a living monument to humanity's power, a testament to what one human and one crew could do against all odds. And as Marcus gazed out at the stars, he knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy had underestimated humanity for centuries. Now they would never do it again. The Titaness surged forward, faster, stronger, unstoppable. Under the guidance of Marcus, the human mechanic who refused to accept limits, it became more than a weapon, it became a legend. And in the vastness of space, among stars that had watched silently for millennia, one thing was certain: humans had arrived. The galaxy would never forget the name Marcus, or the power of a human mind. The Titaness, once abandoned and left to die, now soared as the galaxy's strongest weapon, a weapon built not by fear, but by human courage, ingenuity, and determination.